In 1983, I was a Formula 3 driver with a big dream. So I wrote a letter. Keep an eye on me, I said. Stamped and addressed, I sent it here. Welcome to Maranello, the home of Ferrari.
Checker flag goes out for Ascari.
Nobody can catch Villeneuve now.
Fangio with his uncanny skill.
Nicky Lauda takes the flag.
Enzo once said, the Ferrari is a dream.
That dream became a reality.
A symbol that represents an entire country. A lot's changed since I wrote that letter. But the famous black horse is still prancing. In the spectacular history of the Ferrari F1 team, the F14T is always likely to bring a tear to their eye. But unfortunately, only a tear of sadness and frustration.
Fernando Alonso now looks at his car that has sadly let him down.
A car designed for the age of the new hybrid turbo power units, one so far totally dominated by Mercedes-Benz. Fans decided on its final name, 14 for 2014, T for turbo. Kimi Raikkonen would rejoin the team after 5 years away, rallying and at Lotus F1. And his teammate was the mighty and irrepressible Fernando Alonso. Between them, they'd finished fourth in the Constructors' Championship with only 2 podiums and, crucially, no victories.
It's been a tough season in general, so to get a podium is always a nice surprise, let's say.
But there's a small window of opportunity for the F14T to be loved once again. Under the current regulations and restrictions, the youngest car that you're allowed to test is from 2014. And so this week, Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen have been testing the Pirelli tyres at their own Fiorano test track in anticipation of big changes for 2017. While the car was nicely warmed up, they asked Sky F1 if we'd like to have a run. We checked the diary, rang around friends, and with nothing better to do, we said yes. Yeah, right. My first task, of course, was to have a seat fitting so I could function properly behind the wheel and stay in position in the relentless corners. So we're going to start with Pedro De La Rosa's seat. De La Rosa's about the same across the shoulders as me. Slightly thinner in the hips, but it feels a bit. So Kimi, I'm going to drive the F14T. Let's start with the steering wheel briefly. Yeah. We got the neutral button there. Let me show the camera. Got neutral in the top left-hand corner. This is the brake to change the brake bias. So I shouldn't need too much more on there, I don't think.
No, I mean, it's nothing that you need to. You can just leave it, just shift gears, yeah. And that's it. I mean.
And how do I start the car up? I think I've got to put my hand up, and they're going to do the magic behind.
I can show you. It's going to be first, and I think they will either put it or they're going to put it in here like P1, and then the guy in the front will show you that it's okay.
Yeah.
And then you lift your left arm so the guy on the behind sees it, and then he will crank it up once and stop, and then start immediately after.
Go to P2.
Yeah, then once you crank it up second time, you go to P2.
Okay. No pressure on me then. So you've been out, Sebastian's been out, you've set a benchmark.
Well, you can always go as fast as you want. You've driven in many races and many cars, so you should be okay.
Yeah, we'll have some fun.
You should go for it and see what happens.
Fiorano was built in 1972 so the team could wheel a car out of the factory and test it. The great Enzo Ferrari used to love sitting in his office, listening to his beloved engines, or even alongside the track, observing his legendary drivers. It's 3 kilometres or 1.9 miles long, and the average speed is around 100 miles an hour. The corners are varied in character to represent many of the European tracks. It also has a crossover and forms the shape of a drunken figure of 8. It's very compact and sits alongside the town of Maranello, where the road cars are built too. Having driven the Force India and Mercedes in 2015, both Mercedes powered of course, this was going to be very interesting.
All fired up and ready to go then. I love it when that particular roller shutter door goes up.
blankets off, clunk it into first gear, and out of this very famous garage. The Fiorano track to myself then. A works Ferrari F1 car, it's not going to get much better than this. The town is all around us. Look, what a view that you're going to have while hanging the washing out. Unbelievable. A tricky little right-left chicane can steal a bit of curb and bring it left very quickly with a right-hander onto the bridge. Kimmy taught me how to go round here a little faster. A nasty bump on that bridge. Lauda, Prost, Mansell, Alonso and the great Michael Schumacher. So many more great drivers too would have lapped relentlessly around here. It's something so special, so privileged to be able to drive a works Ferrari F1 car outside the factory doors. Immense. I mean, it's very drivable. Whenever we come here, they just give us full house, total access. I feel like I'm doing a Grand Prix. That's the level of professionalism going on around me. And they take everything seriously. I'm just an old duffer from the TV, having a go in one of their cars. Treated me like I was one of the works drivers and gave me a memorable, unforgettable experience. Second time I've been around here in an F1 car. I hope it's not the last.